Okay, Ireland, France in the Six Nations. I think this has decided the title. I think the momentum has gone to France now following a 42-27 win. Ireland cannot win the Grand Slam, obviously. The second half was disastrous for Ireland, but I think the game was won in the first half by the French defence, which absorbed pretty much about 30 odd minutes of Irish pressure. And there's a couple of key moments in that first half. One, the France disallowed try, basically, which would have been a smash and grab from Dupont. It's a double knock on in there. Dupont first while making the tackle, and then Penaud trying to pick the ball up. Could that have been an accidental offside? The referees decided via the TMO to give the knock on, and so there's a scrum result. France at that point had barely touched the ball. That was 15, 16 minutes nearly of Irish ball and French defence. In years past, France would have conceded a couple of tries. Their fitness has massively improved with Sean Edwards as the head defence coach. Massively improved. Their organisation, their scramble, their energy, massively improved from years past. 4 or 5 years ago, they've conceded 2 or 3 tries by this point. But that was a warning sign that the Irish need to convert all this territory and pressure, and they weren't doing it. The other major turning point, and I do believe that disallowed try was a turning point because it was a warning shot by the French, was the Joe McCarthy yellow for a cynical pullback on Thomas Ramos. Yeah, stupid, really. Utterly stupid. And within a minute later, BLBRE scores his first try in 21 minutes when France are up a man. Again, Irish ill-discipline has cost them. It nearly cost them last week against Wales. It has cost them in this game, and that is a momentum swing. Now, Ramos does not get the conversion, so it's only 5-0 at this point. Prendergast would respond with a penalty on 35 minutes. Ramos straight away would have a penalty on 36 minutes, but then Sam Prendergast, slotting that penalty on from the halfway line on the stroke of half-time, made it 8-6 at half-time. But with the amount of possession and chances Ireland had, they would be very disappointed with that first half. The French would be very, very happy. Their defence held up. No tries conceded in the first half. And it's because of that defence in the first half, it wins them the game. Even though Ireland would start the second half on top with a Dan Sheehan try, literally from a line-out on 43 minutes, which Prendergast would convert, that lead wouldn't last for Ireland, and then they would quite literally implode for most of the second half. They were blitzed, and in part because of that French defence and the physicality of the French pack. Bouchon scores his try in 47 minutes. Calvin Nash is yellow. It's sin bin in the build-up for a head-high challenge. It's a head clash. It remained a yellow. I'm not overly sold on this reactionary rule change in regards to the TMO review system, 20-minute reds. It remains a yellow because he is lower, ironically, than the player he's tackling, but he's an upright tackle. Now, I think common sense needs to apply. He has got low in the sense that he's lower than the player he's tackling. It is an accidental clash of heads. This is World Rugby being reactionary to head injuries rather than proactive, where they need to punish dirty play and make sure players who have had headshots or head contact and clearly are concussed go through a proper protocol process before they return. Better player care. This is a reactionary rule change because World Rugby is afraid of getting sued by ex-players who know the game is physical and is a contact sport, but then oh no, I've got some head injuries. Come on, we need to get a balance right. But look, under the current letters of the law, I mean, it's a yellow, but it does kill a lot of momentum of the game. These TMO checks. I understand player welfare, but for me, I think there's a better way of doing it. If it's a yellow, it's a yellow. If it's a red, it's a red. He's not going to get head contact out of the game. But the Calvin Nash yellow, that is a massive turning point. Boudon does get a try within that phase of play before the yellow. Ramos converts that. There is a TMO for a potential obstruction. Mahoney, is he obstructed, is he not? It's a 50-50. Irish fans will say he was. French fans says he weren't. Neutrals will say he'd milked it a little bit. Other neutrals will say, actually, by the letter of the law, he has been taken out. Again, another lengthy stoppage there. But a few minutes after, that's on 47 minutes. 50 minutes, BLBRE scores his second try. Luku nearly fluffs it for him. Luku has to come on, and I will mention the injury to Dupont later on, which is important. So Luki plays the majority of the game, which is probably what he was not expecting. He had a brilliant match. But Biel Biari gets his second try from kick on from Penaud. Luki nearly fluffs it by getting in Biel Biari's way. But that's a try. Ramos would then slot a penalty on 56 minutes. Oscar Jegu's come on in the outside centre role. He's a flanker, had a brilliant game after he came on in the outside centre position as a flanker. Gets his try on 59 minutes, and that's a bonus point, which is also crucial. Ramos converted that. Ramos would then have another penalty on 68 minutes. Then something interesting happens. Ireland decide to start playing again and actually start challenging the French defence a bit more. They've been blitzed in about 20 minutes of the second half. Francois Koch gets a yellow. Croft for repeat infringements by the team. They were warned, and this was happening while France were on top as well. There were repeat infringements throughout the game from the French. Their penalty count was quite high. He's got to take one for the team there. However, from the resulting penalty, Ramos intercepts the ball from a tap and go. Penaud and Ramos run the length of the field. Ramos intercepts, passes it to Penaud. He scores a try in 75 minutes while France are down a man. Ramos would convert, but in the last couple of minutes, France switch off. Cian Healy gets a try in 78 minutes on his 100th cap. Prendergast converts that, and Jack Conan gets a try in 80 minutes. Again, Prendergast converts, and Prendergast had a decent game, not perfect. He's still developing as a fly half. There's room for improvement in his game, I will say that. Now, takeouts from the game. France have responded to that defeat to England in the last two games. They've responded against Italy and they've responded against Ireland. The issue with France is the centre combination defensively. That's the issue, hence why they've got a back row forward playing in the outside centre role for the last 20-25 minutes of the game. That's a weakness for them. It wasn't really exploited by the Irish today. Italy exploited it a little bit in the last round, but that's a weakness for them. And Antoine Dupont knee injury. It's an accidental hyperextension. He's in a ruck. Players fall on him awkwardly. Let's hope it's not too serious for the summer tours, but that could be a stint on the sidelines. Now, he did walk off, admittedly aided off the field, but he was walking off, which is generally a better sign than if he wasn't. But not. That could be an ACL, PCL, MCL. It could be any of them. If it's an ACL, that's bad. If it's an MCL or a PCL, less serious, but bad. If it's a PCL, that's the best one to do, ironically. ACL, that would be a good 3-6 months, year, depending on the severity. PCL, it's 3 to 6 months. MCL, month to 3 months. So we shall see. So that's the dampener for France, but they've responded. They put themselves in pole position for the Six Nations title. Ireland's Grand Slam hopes have gone in a second half blitz by the French. And I did raise concerns in the preview video that Ireland weren't playing well. They would have to play at their best in order to beat this France side. And the French side that turned up against Italy turned up today that even with Dupont off the field, they just ran riot. They ran riot, but they also played a fly half at fly half with Entomac. Penaud was back in the side, and they looked better as a result. The weakness is still the centre combination defensively. But other than that, I mean, Jegu did quite a good job as an emergency outside centre. But other than that, this French side now looks scary. They've responded to that defeat to England, so we'll just have to see what they do in the final weekend of the Six Nations. But from me for now, thank you very much for watching. Place your thoughts on the game in the comment section below, and I will have some more content for you guys very, very soon.